Hey guys, it's Carly, Fairy Godmother here, and today we are talking about how to make a bone broth. So this is part of my two-part series. The first part of the series, we talked all about which bones to use for which kind of broth, and then this part we're actually going through the whole process on how to make the bone broth. If you're starting with a meat stock, you take a large roast or a pork shoulder roast and then you slow cook it. So you put it in the stovetop or you can put it in a slow cooker and then fill it with water until it's about 2 inches from the top. You can add in different spices, you can add in some vegetables, and then after about 8 hours, you take the roast out and you can use it in various recipes throughout the week. So if you're starting with a chicken broth, my very favorite way to make this is by oven roasting a chicken. The reason being is because I think it gives it a really nice flavor. Plus, you can take the meat and use that in recipes throughout the week, and then take the carcass and use that for your broth. So after your chicken has been oven roasted, you take the carcass and you put it in a stovetop pot, or you can put it in a slow cooker. Then you can add what I call your fixins. So your carrots, your onions, your celery, bay leaf, and then you fill the pot with water about 2 inches from the top, set it on low for about 24 to 42 hours, and then when everything is cooked, you just strain it and reserve the broth for all of your recipes, or just so you can sip on as is. So now if you're ready to transition to a bone broth, you start with your bones. So right here we have our knuckle and marrow bones, and you can add those to the pot. Once you've added your bones to the pot, you can start adding your fixins. So the staple for any broth is carrots, onions, celery, and then some of your seasonings like black peppercorns, bay leaves, and sea salt. So from here, you just start coarsely chopping up your vegetables and then throwing them in the pot. It really doesn't matter what they look like because everything is going to go into the broth anyways. So I just give everything a rough chop. Onions, this is really important. You want to leave the onion skins on because it adds a really nice color and flavor to the broth. So I just roughly chop my onions and throw those in. Same thing with your celery. You don't have to get fancy. I mean, sometimes I get as lazy as honestly just breaking them apart. But the reason is that you just want to release a little bit of flavor. So we throw those in there. And this is really important for a beef bone broth. Beef has such a robust flavor, so I always add a sweet potato. It neutralizes the flavor a little bit and then sweetens up the broth. You can do the same thing with beets too. They also really help to break up the flavor of the beef broth. So we add in some sweet potato. You can also add in fresh herbs and different kinds of spices. And then again, I've got some bay leaves, a few black peppercorns, and then some sea salt. Once you've added all of your ingredients into the pot, you'll fill it with water until it's about 2 inches from the top of the pot. And then from here, you'll bring everything to a boil and then let it simmer for about 24 to 42 hours, stirring occasionally. I have one that's already made right here that we're just going to strain it and reserve it. So then you just strain everything else out. And here you have your broth. Now from here you can use this in various recipes. I love making blended soups with this, so just throwing some vegetables in a pan, sauteing it all up, adding the broth, and then when the veggies are soft, I just puree everything and it becomes this really nice blended soup. You can also use it in other recipes, your stovetop cooking as well, but again, this is going to be super helpful in helping to heal the gut. So one thing I love to do when I make a broth is start a discard pile, and that's any of the tops to my celery, carrot tops, anything like that that you're not using in your cooking, to throw in a little baggie in your freezer. And that way, next time you make a broth, you just take all of these out and dump them in there. It's just really awesome because it helps reduce food waste, and then you use all the vegetables. So your broth should last for up into about 2 weeks in the refrigerator or 6 months in the freezer. I love to freeze this in little ice cube trays, and that way anytime I cook, I just pop a couple of the cubes out and use it in all my various recipes. Hopefully you're encouraged now to make some broth of your own. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and also check out my website because I have a lot of recipes available on there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in for more videos soon.